Harvey Dryden Field for today's doubleheader featuring the Salem College Spirits and your Southern Virginia University Knights. President Denna and the Southern Virginia University staff, thank you for your support of the student athletes and coaches participating in today's contest. The NCAA and USA South Athletic Conference promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or intimidating actions directed at coaches, players, officials, or any other team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. Also, the consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages and tobacco use is strictly prohibited. Please stay away from the playing area and the dugouts, and go Knights! In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we will begin with a word of prayer, which will be offered by Coach Ike Beck of the track and field team.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for this day and the many blessings that we have. Father, we ask thee to be with the athletes, the coaches, and the officials of this game. Bless them that they may all perform at the top of their ability. We pray for safety upon all those participating, and we pray for a great day. In the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ, amen.
Now for your starting lineups. Starting for the Spirits, leading off and playing first, number 5, Madeline Brown. Batting second and in the circle today, number 2, Kat Price. Batting third and playing shortstop, number 20, Savannah Atkins. Batting fourth and behind the plate, number 35, Shelby LaPointe. Batting fifth and playing center field, number 9, Cree Bass. Batting sixth and playing third, number 6, Lauren Fisher. Batting seventh and playing second, number 19, Jocelyn Rogers. Batting eighth and playing left field, number 21, Malia Tate. And batting ninth and playing right field, number 15, Katie Gearhart. The Spirits are coached by head coach Courtney Tucker and assisted by Ryan Carricker and Brianna Murphy. And now, starting for your Knights. Leading off and playing left field, number 8, Ari Bryant. Batting second and playing third, number 24, JC Scanlon. Batting third and playing second base, number 20, Zakel Jones. Batting fourth and playing as designated player, number 16, Crystal Kim. Batting fifth and playing shortstop for the Knights, number 10, Addie Winston. Batting sixth and behind the plate for the Knights, number 15, Kraylin Diamond. Batting seventh and in the circle today, number 6, Malia Davis. Batting eighth and playing first, number 22, Katie Clayton. Batting ninth and playing center field, number 3, Chloe Nelson. And as the flex playing right field, number 9, Emily Logan. The Knights are coached by Tiffany Pendleton and assisted by Rachel Mawson, Kenzie Cox, and Colby Kemp. Now if you will all please rise, remove your caps, and face the flag as we honor America. Performing today's national anthem, senior outfield, number 9, Emily Oldham.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose sunshine some bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched work so gallantly stream, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
Thank you. Good luck to both teams. Let's play ball.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's broadcasting for another edition of Southern Virginia Athletics. Today's softball doubleheader features the Spirits of Salem College and your Southern Virginia University Knights. I'm Dawson Weidrich, joined by Danny Ash for what should be a fantastic conference matchup. Great to have you here with us, Danny.
Glad to be here. It's a gorgeous day for some ball.
It absolutely is. Not a single cloud in the sky up here at the fields in Buena Vista, Virginia. And Southern Virginia coming off a couple of back and forth. The past couple weeks has been kind of a roller coaster ride of emotions for this Southern Virginia team. It's been win-loss, win-loss. It's been really hard to get a couple of wins together. And so they'll hope to do so in this doubleheader against conference opponent Salem College, who they themselves are having their own set of struggles this season.
Salem has been struggling. They are coming off of being shut down because of COVID reasons, so they have a smaller team than perhaps they're used to. In the past, this has been a fantastic team with a really excellent program.
Absolutely.
Had a lot of success, but they have struggled this year, coming off of a 9-round losing streak, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Southern Virginia looking to pick up a couple wins here for the first time against this program. It'll be good to see what they can do today.
Absolutely. You know, Danny, you and I were talking just about that very thing before today's game, how a lot of times in the past it was Southern Virginia's team who was struggling throughout the year, and you mentioned the fact that Southern Virginia has never won against Salem College in their history, just simply due to the quality program that Salem College has had in the past. But again, Southern Virginia looking to change that today, and pitching for the Knights is Malia Davis. That has popped up. It'll be a foul ball, with his first batter for Salem College being number 5, Madeline Brown, the junior from Augusta, Georgia.
What's interesting, as you had mentioned, is that the tables are kind of turned here, where we see Salem has a much smaller program this year, and then Southern Virginia has the depth to be able to work with multiple pitchers, and we have Malia Davis in the circle today. She gets a strike on a floater.
And, you know, talking about Malia Davis, I had a chance to briefly talk to assistant coach Colby Kemp. Colby Kemp's a good friend, and you know, he was talking about Malia Davis and the fact that they have a couple of really intense matchups here in the next couple of weeks for Southern Virginia. And so the decision to put Malia Davis in the circle as she gets a strikeout there against Brown, and we'll move on to Price, is that, you know, Colby said something that I thought was interesting. He said if it weren't for the fact they had such depth at the pitcher position for Southern Virginia, Malia Davis would easily be the #1 pitcher on this roster. He just has that much confidence in her. Him, as well as head coach Tiffany Pendleton, have so much confidence. And just all their pitchers overall, which has really been a huge change for them compared to previous years.
Yeah, certainly. Southern Virginia has usually worked with, you know, 1 or 2 pitchers who have really held down the program and really been workhorses. So this year, their ability to work Malia Davis and Ari Primek and Crystal Kemp together has been fantastic for the program. They've seen a lot of success this year, showing how important it is to have depth at such a key position as the pitching one.
Absolutely, and at bat once again is number 2, Kat Price, the sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina. Right down the middle. Solid pitch there for Malia Davis.
It's interesting to see this umpire. He has a higher inside zone than I think we're used to seeing here at Harvey Dryden Field. So if we're having a bigger...
Right down the middle that time. Malia Davis on a hot start right now.
Absolutely. Is she going for her second K here? I guess it's kind of looking like it.
Swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts. We'll see if she can do the same against Atkins, number 20, Savannah Atkins, the senior from Dobson, North Carolina.
That is an excellent start for number 6, Malia Davis. You really can't ask for anything better than that.
No one on base, 2 outs, both of them strikeouts for Davis. That'll be a foul ball, make it an 0-1 count. And another thing that Colby Kemp told me before the game is that they want to make these super quick games. Obviously, that's always what you want to do, but you want to get in there defensively, take care of business, and that was his main emphasis to me before the game was we need to take care of business here today. As the throw to first base is successful in getting Atkins out at first. So 3 up, 3 down, and the Knights will have a chance to respond at bat. But again, that was the main thing Colby was saying is that, again, we talk about the struggles that Salem College has had this year on a 9-game losing streak, only winning 3 games so far in this regular season. He said we got to come in here, take care of business, be consistent. Those are the 2 main things, taking care of business and being consistent. And so far, so good.
Yeah, absolutely. So Southern Virginia has been doing a really great job this year of being consistent, especially at the plate.
Right.
We have seen some fantastic hitting from the Knights this year in a way that we haven't seen in the program's past, and love to see them continue with that sort of pattern this year, or I mean this series.
Absolutely. So to start things off, Southern Virginia will have number 8, Ari Primack, the sophomore from Woodbridge, Virginia, up to bat. And pitching for the Spirits is number 2, Kat Price. She was just recently at bat, one of the batters who struck out. But during the short break, I want to remind you, you're watching this on Knights Broadcasting here on YouTube. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know how we can improve this viewing presentation of Southern Virginia athletics. And be sure to click that notification bell. That way you get notified every single time we go live with Southern Virginia athletics. Thank you so much for supporting Knights Broadcasting. Now, Primack, we've talked about her a lot, both pitching-wise and at-bat. You just mentioned the great results the Knights have been seeing in that category so far this year. Primack has just been that overall player where in the circle, she's very consistent, battling it out with batters. And at bat, she's arguably one of the better players of getting on base, one of the higher percentages of getting on base than any other on Southern Virginia's roster.
Which, as a leadoff hitter, that is exactly your job. You're not supposed to be the powerhouse. You're not really bringing people in. Your job is to consistently get on base for those girls who are coming up behind you. So with her and her on-base percentage, she's doing exactly the role that has been set for her, and we love to see that.
That's all you can really ask for, honestly. So we see now Price working against Primack. Like you said earlier, Danny, they're really liking that sort of high inside area.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, seeing what that does to the hitter's perspective and seeing if they will, maybe take a step back in the box so that they have the ability to turn on these inside pitches. Because the last thing you want to do is get jammed up on the handle. You're going to have balls that aren't hit super well. They're going to be easy to field. We'll see how both teams end up adjusting to this high inside strike zone.
And that was a foul ball there as it ricocheted off of Primack's bat. As we popped up the short outfield. So it'll be a single for Primack. Great placement where it's dropped right past the shortstop, right at the very edge of outfield. And that's always difficult. You have to communicate who's going to get it, who can actually physically get it.
Right. Those little blooper shots that are behind your middle infielders, whether it's behind the second base position or shortstop, those are so tough to get to because with your outfielders a little bit deeper, the middle infielders have a tough time moving back to those, but then the outfielders are so far back, it's difficult, and those little drop shots can sometimes just get in there, but great way to get on base.
Absolutely. We have number 24, J.C. Shumway, the sophomore from Moab, Utah. Hits out into right field. That is right to outfielder number 15, Katie Gerhardt. So 1 out. Still with Primack on first base. Now we'll have DeKel Jones up to bat. And we talk about power hitters, a lot of times we talk about you know, Kemp, we talk about as well, DeKel Jones, who really fits into that category. So hopefully she can advance Primac to maybe second, maybe third base, and even has the power, of course, to hit it out of the park to get 2 runs in right off the bat.
Right. DeKel Jones, number 20, has that awesome versatility that you like to see in a 3-hole hitter. She can kind of do it all. She can get herself on base, but she has the power to bring it home. Also has the ability to lay down a fantastic bunt. That's something that we've definitely seen her do in the past, especially here at Harvey Dryden Field. She's laid down some beautiful bunts. And so just that ability to execute is something that we've seen from DeKel on a number of occasions.
Powerful hit to left field. That's going to get past the outfielder, just short of going over the fence. But Primac's going to try to get home, and she will. So Southern Virginia will take a 1-0 lead. And DeKel Jones gets home too.
In the park home run for number 20. We were talking about that power. Just off the fence, well-placed ball, and then with a throwing error is gonna take both hitters in.
Fantastic hit from Jones, but like you said, Danny, a little bit of assistance from errors in the infield. And again, you talk about over-the-fence home runs; those are always exciting, but arguably the more difficult and arguably more exciting home runs are those infield home runs where you're basically trying to outrun the arms of the outfielder.
Yeah, this is a Southern Virginia where we are seeing the coaches and the players communicating really well together, with Tiffany Pendleton knowing to send her girls home, and they are taking a more aggressive approach, and it's paying off. Taking an early 2-0 lead with 1 out and Crystal Kemp up to bat. I mean, this is a great position for the Knights to be in.
Absolutely. For Salem College, I think to themselves, this is a very quick 2-run hole we find ourselves in. And again, we talk about one of the more powerful batters on this lineup for Southern Virginia. If you're not careful, if you're Salem College, things can get rather ugly really quickly. That one a little high.
You can see the teams figuring out, though, what this umpire likes and keeping the ball higher. But with keeping the ball high, you're kind of having a double-edged sword there, because excellent hit up the middle by Crystal Kemp, but they're going to get her out. Shortstop, excellent play to first base.
Indeed, it is a solid placement because, again, you have pitcher Cat Price right there. It goes by her feet. Unfortunately for Crystal Kemp, you had the shortstop right there. I believe it's number 20. That is Savannah Atkins. Like you said, Danny, doing a fantastic job fielding it and getting it to first right on time. So now up to bat, we'll have number 10, Addison Webster, the junior from Gilbert, Arizona. So the score remains 2-0 in favor of the Knights. 2 outs now. That one a little outside for Price. Another thing you're excited about too, if you're one of the Southern Virginia coaches, is the fact that you got someone on base and you immediately capitalized. Utilize that to give yourselves more of an advantage. That's a foul ball there off the bat of Webster.
Yeah. Something Southern Virginia has struggled with in the past was leaving batters on base.
Right.
Or leaving hitters on base after they had worked hard to get on. And this year, they've done a great job of bringing the girls home, advancing them to the next base, getting them in a scoring position, and trusting, whoever's next in the lineup to be able to work with that. So seeing a lot of great cohesion from the lineup has been fantastic to see this year, and they've had a lot of success, which is great to see for this program.
That's another foul ball off to the right side. And again, you can't say enough just about the turnaround for the Southern Virginia program. The last 2 seasons, as far as win-loss record is concerned, it wasn't necessarily the prettiest thing to look at, but then turning around and already having double-digit victories as that popped up into the infield, brought down by number 19, Jocelyn Rogers, the freshman from Smithfield, Virginia. And that'll bring this first inning to a close. The Knights with a score of 2-0 over the Spirits of Salem College. But again, just the turnaround. And, you know, honestly, the coaches expected it, which is something you can always say in hindsight, but I remember talking to some of these coaches before the season. They were saying, you know, we struggled the past couple years, but looking at our team and how we've been practicing before the season had begun, they were very, very confident that this year was going to be a very different story. They were looking to be very competitive and play a lot of higher-ranked teams tough, and they did so against Pfeiffer just a couple weeks back. Weren't able to get a victory, but definitely played them a lot tougher than they would have in seasons past.
Right. And I think that there's a lot to be said about how the coaches went about recruiting this year. They've managed to build a really strong team that has worked together really well. I know that you've mentioned in past broadcasts that Colby has said that this is a really great group of girls to work with, one of the best that he's had the chance to work with. And I think that that shows in their ability to work together on the field, what they've been able to do off the field together with, you know, putting in the work, whether it's in school or, you know, weights. So, and we're seeing all of that hard work pay off now, and that team cohesion really coming into play here.
We absolutely are, and now to bat number 35, Shelby LaPointe, the freshman from Liberty, North Carolina. That strike makes it a 1-1 count. Again, Malia Davis in the top of the first inning had 2 strikeouts, and they had a quick throw out to first. They had 3 up, 3 down, looking to do the same thing here again. That one a little outside from Davis.
It's really great to see the movement and the speed with which Malia Davis is throwing today.
That's hit right to Davis. She can take her time getting that to first. Love the patience there. She knew she had plenty of time to get over there and get it there accurately. So now up to bat will be number 9, Cree Bass Jr. out of Maiden, North Carolina. Salem College still making their way through the lineup for the first time today. That one drops right in the middle there. And again, this is the first of 2 games of today's doubleheader. I feel like that one left her hand a little late.
Yeah, one of the trickiest part of pitching is the release point, because it can make or break a pitch.
Right.
And it's such a specific mechanic that influences every pitch.
That one's popped up out to the right side. That'll be a foul ball. Bass, who's up to bat, is one of the outfielders for the Spirits today. That one just a little inside. And, you know, I always like to say there's the 3-inning experiment that happens with pitchers in these games. You know, you have a couple of innings just to kind of figure out what the umpire likes, what the batters like or don't like, and gets a strikeout right there. That's the 3rd one for Davis today. But so far, considering the fact that it's only the 2nd inning, Davis is having a fantastic time right now.
Is that her 3rd recorded strikeout?
Indeed, I believe it is. So now up to bat for the Spirits is number 6, Lauren Fisher, sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina. Indeed, Davis does have 3 strikeouts so far. Again, just in the top of the 2nd inning. And thrown to first for the easy 3rd out. That's something I noticed from both Malia Davis as well, the shortstop right there. I believe that was number 20, DeKill Jones, was that whenever there is a hit into the infield, you see there's a lot of patience. They know how much time they have. They're not trying to rush anything. They know a simple play to first, easy, textbook. You practice it all the time. I just love seeing that patience so far today.
Yeah, that's something that you want to take away is the pressure that you can feel, the need to make a quick play, but just practicing those mechanics. These are the plays that you make every single day, dozens of times a day in practice. So being able to put away just, a nice throw over to first instead of trying to get it off too hot and having a bad throw or having an error. This is something that we love to see from the team this year, is settling down and just getting into your groove defensively and taking care of those nice, easy plays when you get them.
Absolutely. And during this short break, I wanted to give a shout out to our athletic partners, Straws Drinks and Eats here in Buena Vista, Virginia. I always love to brag about Straws Drinks and Eats. If you're visiting the area, whether it be visiting campus or visiting the Blue Ridge Mountains here, as you can see here on this broadcast, we're surrounded by them right now. Be sure to go stop by Straws Drinks and Eats. They got great drinks, great treats, and great times. Straws Drinks and Eats, we appreciate your partnership with Southern Virginia Athletics. And at bat right now for Southern Virginia is number 15, Kraylin Guyman, sophomore from Federal Way, Washington. This is their first time at bat today. And in the circle, so for the Spirits is number 2, Kat Price.
Taking a moment right now to adjust some catching gear.
I remember back in my baseball days, sometimes there'd be innings where you notice the strap is off on your pitch or catching gear, and sometimes you try to push through it, and sometimes it's like, no, I got to fix this absolutely right now. Because I tell you what, folks, catching, as glorious as it may be sometimes, it ain't a picnic. It's oftentimes very uncomfortable. So I always am very impressed with both catchers in baseball and softball who are able to endure longer innings, or sometimes if maybe the pitching's not going well that day, the movement that they have back there, it's just always impressive to me. Small rant, I know, but with that, we'll continue after that foul ball. That one drops a little low for Guyman. And on deck for Southern Virginia will be number 6, Malia Davis. Another foul ball. The count is 1-2. Another foul ball. That one hits the top of the fence and then rolls out of the park.
Kraylin Guyman is another one of those who has so much power, that she's capable of absolutely ripping it down that line.
Hit right to shortstop, number 20, Savannah Atkins.
Now batting for the Knights, number 6, Malia Davis.
Now Malia Davis up to bat. That's dropped. And a great, phenomenal catch there from number 19, Jocelyn Rogers.
Yeah, those over-the-shoulder behind your position catches are so difficult, but she did an excellent job of just putting it away. Well done by number 19, Jocelyn Rogers.
Now to bat number 22, Katie Clater. That's another foul ball. I want to warn the viewing audience in advance, due to some slight technical difficulties, we'll have to restart this broadcast of softball. It'll, of course, still be at the same point that you're watching right now. Just want to warn you in advance that we'll have this stream restarted and still on Knights Broadcasting. So I want to warn you in advance.
Oh.
Coming over the fence.
That was a fantastic home run by number 22, Katie Clater. Went straight over the table.
Indeed it did. Fantastic hit from Clater. It's one of those things about broadcasting is that you're kind of always in the line of fire. We talk about the powerful hitters for SVU softball. And it's almost like there's a target right above where we're at, and you love to be more involved in the game in that way. And that's absolutely fantastic. Brings the lead to 3-0 for the Knights of Southern Virginia.
That's going to be Katie Clater's 3rd home run of the year. And that's something that you love to see from a younger player who has so much more to offer the program. He's already so much strength behind her bat and so much consistency when she's batting. You know that this is a girl who can bring it around town, as she has, not to reference SpongeBob, I'm so sorry.
I'm glad you called it out because I was going to.
But love to see that from a younger girl who has so much power. But that was great. Beautiful hit.
Absolutely was. Now up to bat for the Knights is number 3, Chloe Nelson, sophomore from Billings, Montana. Again, as the Knights have a 3-0 lead. That's going to get into the outfield. Nelson will get to first. So the Knights still in business.
Now at the plate for the Knights, number 8.
Now we'll have number 8, Ari Primack. The Knights getting back to the top of their batting order here. And so far for Southern Virginia, they haven't been able to get every batter on base. It's been kind of slightly inconsistent in that way, but regardless of that, they've been able to have both an infield home run and an out-of-the-park home run to really establish themselves here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Yeah, these are the kind of things that you kind of expect out of your first couple innings, though, is the girls are learning, what the girl is throwing, and they're getting used to the strike zone.
Right.
So taking time to talk to each other when you're in the dugout between innings.
And with that, once again, I want to remind you that we are having to restart this broadcast, so we'll be right back here on Knights Broadcasting for the presentation of SVU softball. And we are back here on Night Broadcasting. We apologize for that brief break. We are back here at Harvey Dryden Field at the fields of Southern Virginia, with the Knights having a 3-0 lead. In the circle right now is Malia Davis with number 19, Jocelyn Rogers, up to bat for the Spirits of Salem College. That's going to end up being a foul ball.
That is an excellent aggressive start from number 19, trying to get ahead of Malia Davis, trying to figure out her speed, turning on those inside pitches. That's a really great adjustment from what we've seen in some of the earlier batters.
It absolutely is. We're getting close to the bottom of the batting lineup for the Spirits. Again, you want to see a batter establish some sense of connection with the ball off of Davis's pitches. As again, we mentioned, she now has 3 strikeouts so far here. We're only in the bottom of the 2nd. That's the 2nd overthrow we've seen from an infielder for Southern Virginia. So if you're a coach, you're looking at that thinking, hey, we might have a lead, but let's not be sloppy now. Let's make sure we make the simple throws, even if there's nobody on base. Pitch a little high from Davis. Rogers now with a 2-1 count. That one a little high, make it 3-1. That's popped up into the outfield. And chasing that one down is number 3, Chloe Nelson. She really sprinted after that one. Fantastic play.
As she needed to, though, it was dropping quickly. And so that sort of speed, getting to it, taking it away, fantastic. Fantastic show of effort from number 3, Chloe Nelson.
Now up to bat for the Spirits is number 21, Malia Tate, freshman from Lexington, North Carolina. Whenever we say Lexington, we're tempted to talk about the Lexington that's just down the road from Buena Vista, Virginia, but that's all the way out in North Carolina. A lot of Lexingtons in the South or the East Coast.
Yeah. Often if I'm looking up the Lexington, the first one that pops up is, of course, Kentucky. I had never actually heard of Lexington, Virginia before coming out here.
But the more you look into it, the more it's just a lot of copy names in the East, but you love it. That makes it a 2-0 count with one out here in the top of the third. That one just a little low to the outside. Makes it a 3-0 count. That's a foul ball. And you can expect from Tate trying to get some sort of bunt, because Tate's standing at 4'11". Trying to get a solid placed hit on the infield or a solid bunt. Trying to run into that one.
Yeah, I know that stats aren't everything. They only tell a part of the story,
Right.
but it looks like Malia Tate has maybe been struggling a bit with batting this year as a freshman, maybe having a difficulty adjusting to the level of competition as she has 17 strikeouts on the book. But it's great to see her battling here, seeing the ball well, fouling it off. We'll see if 4'11", you said, she can get on base.
The benefit for her with that is the smaller strike zone, as she now has a full count. That's another foul ball.
I know that's something that we have talked about in the past with like Emily Oldham and having a square 1 foot box, strike zone to work with. That can be really challenging to hit as a pitcher. Requires a lot of precision.
And a strikeout for Davis. You mentioned the precision needed to pull something like that off. She had exactly that. And you look at number 21, Malia Tate, she was kind of baiting Davis to try to pitch her another ball just to get on base and get something going for the Spirits. But Davis ran with it and gets her 4th strikeout of the game.
Well, what we love to see about that between both Malia Davis, of course, and then also Colby Kemp and the way he called that at bat. He's over there calling the pitches for Southern Virginia, and she was throwing a lot of heat. And, Tate was figuring it out. She was fouling it off. So what does Colby and what does Malia Davis catch her with? They catch her with an off speed, something that throws you off, and before you have the chance to think about whether or not you want to take it, it's too late. And those off-speed pitches are so crucial in an at-bat like that, where she's seeing the ball well. Something to really throw her off her game, like an off-speed pitch like that, is really perfect.
It absolutely is. And now up to bat for the Spirits is number 15, Katie Gerhardt, junior from Smithfield, Virginia. This is her first at-bat. We're at the very bottom of the Spirits batting order now. That one high, a little to the outside. I believe that makes it a 2-2 count.
Yeah, the mindset of a 2-2 count is so interesting from either perspective, of the pitcher or the batter. But Malia Davis is going to take care of it with another strikeout.
That is her 5th of the afternoon so far. Going into the bottom of the third, it's shaping up to be a fantastic day for her in the circle as the Knights get back up to bat, starting off with number 24, JC Shumway. Again, the sophomore from Moab, Utah. This will be her 2nd at-bat. Wasn't able to get on base last time, hoping to change that this time around. I want to once again remind you, you're watching this presentation of Southern Virginia Athletics on Knights Broadcasting here on YouTube. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, comment down below, let us know how we're doing, and be sure to click that notification bell. That way you get notified every single time we go live with Southern Virginia Athletics. Thank you so much for supporting Knights Broadcasting. So again, right now the score is standing 3-0. You're in the bottom of the third. Things are going really well for you if you're Southern Virginia. Of course, there's some things you can improve on, getting more runners on base and then allowing those big hitters. Again, we've had a couple of home runs already from Southern Virginia, but if you're able to get a couple other runners on base when those occur, of course, that bode a lot more well for you, increase your lead. And if you're Salem College, you're trying to figure out what to do because, again, if you're Price has yet to get a strikeout so far today. And she's allowed 3 runs. It's not been necessarily a fun start to this game for her. So to see what they try to change up here to give themselves more of a chance at making a sort of comeback here with the early deficit.
Right. If you're Cat Price, you are going to want to stay away from the Knights, their power zones. So keeping the ball outside, keeping it low. But then you have this umpire who likes a high zone.
Solid hit to the outfield for Shumway. She's going to turn 2. That'll be a double for Shumway. You talk about staying out of the power zones. Shumway's able to put a lot of power into that one.
Yeah.
We'll have DeKel Jones up to bat for the Knights now with a runner on second. But again, like you said, whenever Price puts in that power zone for Southern Virginia, things like that occur. So again, try to get him more to the outside, try to bait him to get a swing on something that they won't get as much power into. Try to get a couple strikeouts. That's popped up into a short outfield.
There's going to be a communication error between left field and shortstop.
And slow to get up that time was number 21, Malia Tate. She seems to be okay. Seems to be walking it off. Hopefully she is all right. Because like you said, there was a communication error, so I think there's a slight collision, or at least an awkward landing that may have caused some issues for Tate. Again, we're not necessarily sure the nature of the injury.
It did seem as if she was trying to commit to the ball and then was afraid of being hit and went down hard on either a knee or an ankle, and she's trying to walk it off now, see how she's feeling.
Well, the fact she's able to get up on her own power is a good sign in and of itself, so we'll see as her coaches are attending to her now. Coaches Courtney Tucker and Ryan Carricker. Courtney Tucker in her first season as head coach for the Salem Spirits, and the second coach for the Spirits since the dismissal of athletic programs at Salem College due to the events of the past couple of years. So again, that's another thing, is that when you have dismissal of programs and you bring them back, there's a culture you have to reestablish, and that includes, you know, a coaching staff and developing that type of thing. And that's a struggle for a lot of programs, especially younger programs, is developing a culture of winning, even if you have a long history of success that Salem College does, which is very much notable and very well known in this general area.
And with dismissing a program, you kind of have to start from scratch all over again, because,
Absolutely.
you know, as you mentioned, even if you had a lot of success in the past with new coaching, new girls, you know, you sort of have to build from the ground up as if you don't have that history. But we are going to see that number 21, she is going to be okay. Love to see that. Injuries can be absolutely devastating to an athlete's career. Good to see that she is still in the game.
Absolutely, they will leave her on, and you know, the fact that she is also a freshman, you know, I've known plenty of athletes who earlier in their career, whether it be collegiate or even later in high school, where they have injuries and it causes them to have issues later on, and it keeps piling up. And so if you're able to overcome those things early on as a freshman, that's always a huge bonus. And so now we'll have number 16, Crystal Kemp, up to bat as the Knights have runners on second and third. Kemp knocks into midfield, and brilliant catch by number 9, Cree Bass.
Number 24, JC Shumway, is going to tag up on that play, though, and manage to score. So that'll be a sacrifice fly for Crystal Kemp. And DeKel Jones also managing to advance on that play.
So even with the fantastic play there from Bass, like you said, the Knights able to get another run scored, make the score 4-0, and still in scoring position with number 10 Addison Webster up to bat. Pitch a little high into the outside for Price. Again, here in the bottom of the third, there's one out after that play.
Addie Webster having a great year. She's .317 batting average and on-base percentage of almost 400. So love to see that consistently getting on base and bringing girls around.
Solid hit into left field. Right between the left and center fielder, bringing another run. That is number 20, DeKel Jones, making it home, making the score 5-0, with Webster getting a double on that play.
Number 15,
So now we'll have number 15, Kraylin Guyman, up to bat. And honestly, if you're Southern Virginia, these first couple of innings, very little could have gone better for you as far as that bat is concerned. A little conversation happening here between the umpire and Salem head coach Courtney Tucker. A little meeting the infield as well. I believe they're going to change the pitcher now to number 12, Allie Sturzbach, freshman from Huntersville, North Carolina. Want to preemptively warn you once again, due to some more technical issues, we'll have to restart the stream once again at the end of this inning. So we'll make sure you are aware of that as it approaches. Again, there is still only one out here in the bottom of the third, the score being 5-0 as we're seeing number 12, Allie Sturzbach, getting ready to go up against number 15, Kraylin Guyman, sophomore from Federal Way, Washington.
It does look as though Salem has 4 pitchers that they're working with on their roster this season. They're working with Kat Price, Katie Gerhardt, Allie Sturzbach, and Jocelyn Rogers. So they have some depth in their pitching roster, and we see that they're going into that, which is a wise decision on their part. If your opposition is up 5-0, you know, they've seen your first pitcher, they're hitting her well. It's a smart call.
And Guyman's gonna hit foul on that one. And again, Price, she did struggle a little bit in these first couple innings. I don't believe she's able to get a strikeout in this game up to this point. So like you said, Danny, making that change, you know, could turn the tide, could help make it to where the Knights batting roster kind of mentally has to restart, figure things out from scratch. That will load to the outside, especially when the Knights are once again in a scoring position with number 10 Addison Webster at second.
So many of the Knights on the roster are capable of bringing the girls home, and with Kraylin Guyman having brought in 11 runs herself.
And so Guyman will be thrown out at first, but Webster will advance to third.
Now batting for the Knights.
So sacrifice hit there, and now up to bat is number 6, Malia Davis, who, on the other hand, as far as pitching is concerned, is having a phenomenal day with 5 strikeouts so far going into this third inning.
Yeah, she's having a great outing, and she is a fantastic pitcher. She has struggled a bit at the plate, but she is going to take a ball there. So we're seeing that she is able to see the ball well. But this is a batter that we, would love to see more from.
Absolutely, and you can expect a little bit of patience from her going up against Sturzbach for the first time today.
Well, we've got to give Malia Davis, we've got to give her some grace, because whereas many of the girls have seen, 50 to 80 at-bats, she has seen 12. So
Right.
she's still finding her groove, finding her stride in the box. She's going to take one off the foot there, and she's going to get hit by pitch and advance to first base.
So now we'll have runners on first and third with number 22, Katie Clater, freshman from right here in Buena Vista, Virginia. Went to school just down the road at Perry McClure High School.
I think she actually sent a softball there last at bat.
And she did, very close to getting it there.
Katie Clater had a beautiful home run right over center field last at bat.
Right over our broadcasting table, actually.
Yeah. I've got to remember to bring my glove when I'm out here.
Get a couple of souvenirs while you're at work. Elise pointed that one just felt awkward the entire way through. Felt like her arm was kind of bending up as she was releasing it rather than releasing it right at her hip.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna get into the infield. The throw to first. And that'll bring this inning to a close. And once again, like we mentioned before, we'll have to restart this stream here on Knights Broadcasting. So we will be right back with this presentation of Southern Virginia Athletics. And we're back with Night Broadcasting here of Southern Virginia softball here in the fields of Buena Vista, Virginia. We do apologize for the technical errors here so far, but we are at the top of the fourth inning. The Knights facing off against the Spirits of Salem College. That is a foul ball there with a full count. At bat for the Spirits is number 5, Madeline Brown, junior from Augusta, Georgia.
She has had a really great at-bat. She's had 2 really solid hits on either side of the field, or foul balls, I should say. But she has been seeing the ball really well. But she's gonna take that one, and it's gonna be another strikeout for number 6, Malia Davis.
That is her 6th of the game. And now number 12 at bat for the Spirits is Allie Sturzbach. She took over pitching duty for the Spirits in, I guess, the previous inning, the bottom of the third. A lot of power behind that one for Davis, but a little outside.
Yeah, that was certainly a heater. That was a good take on the part of the pitcher who has come in.
Allie Sturzbach. Foul ball there. That makes it a 1-1 count. And I think, honestly, that previous pitch was the fastest we have seen from Davis so far today. I mean, she's been pitching fantastically, but that one, pretty sure there was steam coming out from behind that one.
Yeah, I would love to get a pullback. So this can help the girls. It's something that I used to utilize when I played ball as well, is it looks like they're showing a bunt, and then they pull back into a swing. It helps keep your eyes level with your hands, and it can help you, just recenter, refocus, and, see the ball out of the pitcher's hand really well. It's a strategy that it's good to see the Saints using that.
That'll be a foul ball. Hit into the infield. A quick play to first. I mean, it was a great battle there from Allie Sturzbach at bat. But the Knights infield able to win that one, thanks to the fielding effort of number 20, DeKel Jones.
Middle infielders have been putting in really great work today of just taking care of those plays. when number 6, Malia Davis, isn't taking care of the strikeout herself. It's great to have the defense behind her, supporting and backing her up when she gives them those ground balls. It's great.
Now to bat for the Spirits is number 20, Savannah Atkins.
Ripping hot shot to number 24, JC Shumway. She's going to take care of that, send it right over to first base and get him out of this inning.
Not even flinching for a second, which is more than I could probably say for myself if I were in that exact same situation. But fantastic work from Southern Virginia defensively to keep up the defensive effort, maintaining the score at 5 runs to 0, going to the bottom of the 4th. And during the short break, we want to give another shout out to our athletic partners, Straws Drinks and Eats here in Buena Vista, Virginia. I actually had the chance to take some family members out there this past week who don't live in the area. I had a chance to take them there, and they absolutely loved it. Of course, why wouldn't you? Because Straws has great drinks, great treats, and great times. Be sure to go check them out if you're in the Buena Vista, Virginia area. Straws Drinks and Eats, thank you so much for partnering with Southern Virginia Athletics. We appreciate you. So the Knights offensively looking to keep things rolling here in the bottom of the 4th. It's been kind of easy going for Southern Virginia. Again, we mentioned the fact that it's not as if every batter's been getting on base, but the hits they've been able to make, they've been able to capitalize. I don't think they've left a single runner on base, if my memory serves me correctly. So if you're a coach looking at that, that's exactly what you hope for. You want to make sure you take advantage of every single scoring opportunity that you have, and the Knights have done just that.
Indeed they have, and they've also been good about putting a few runs on the board every inning, and just continuing to add to their lead against Salem. And it's looking like if they continue with this pattern, they could be picking up their first win against this program.
Absolutely. Again, we mentioned the fact that Salem College in the past has had a really strong program, very consistently throughout their history. I believe that's been 8 contests between Southern Virginia and Salem College in the 2 programs' history. All of them been won by the Spirits. And so again, in a season of firsts, at least for a while, again, Southern Virginia the past couple years struggling and getting into double-digit victories for the first time in a while, that'd be another great first to add to the tally.
Absolutely, and with any program, you're going to have your ups and downs, and it's a bit of a bummer to see Salem having one of those, down seasons. But we've talked about them rebuilding the program with new coaches, new girls, and coming back from, not having a program for the past couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see how they build up from here.
That one just a little high. Right now is number 3, Chloe Nelson at bat for Southern Virginia. That's going to be hitting to right field. Misjudgment of the ball by number 15, Katie Gerhardt. Nelson's going to turn that into a triple. You see shortstop number 20, Savannah Atkins, having to keep her eye on Nelson the entire time, as Nelson was tempting the idea of even trying to make a run towards home.
Yeah.
That's the good type of greedy that you want in your batters and base runners.
Yeah. But you have to trust the girls who are coming after you, because, it could be the difference between having a runner at third and having one out and no runners on. So I think that's a wise decision. You want to be aggressive, but not overextending on that aggression. And so staying at third, I think, is probably a wise decision, because you have the top of the lineup here, so you know that someone can bring you home.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, top of the lineup with Ari Primack. That is a foul ball for her.
Kind of chopping at the ball a little bit. It can be so hard to not chomp at the bit as a batter and just wait for that pitch, hit that sweet spot, get more power out of it.
Right, especially when you're in scoring position with a teammate on third base.
Oh, but there it is. Line drive to right center is going to send Chloe Nelson home, and Primack is looking for a triple on this.
So back-to-back triples for Southern Virginia, and like you said, another run scored. So that's Primac's second hit. That's her first RBI of the game. As Nelson, like you mentioned, is going to make it home, making the score 6 runs to 0. With number 24, JC Shumway up to bat.
With Primac being a left-handed hitter, she has done an excellent job of sending those shots to right center, and she has the speed to just line up triple after triple. I think that is her 6th triple on the year. A great job by her. Great placed, hits for her to be in excellent scoring position.
And again, they were more targeting more the center right field area here. And again, unfortunately for number 15, Katie Gerhardt, the hit before that resulted in a triple, it was kind of hard. It looked like it was going to drop more initially, but then it ended up gliding a little bit further towards the fence. And now from Primac, that's hard for anyone to get to. Again, line drive, like you said, into outfield, right where nobody is. And so Southern Virginia in a very good spot right now with 0 outs, 1 run scored in the inning. You have a runner on third still. And then now, once again, you'll have JC Shumway up to bat. A little conversation happening between the infielders and pitcher number 12, Allie Sturzbach.
It looks like we might have a substitution happening. We see a bit of a discussion between the home plate umpire and the head coach.
The head coach, Courtney Tucker, trying to figure out what they're going to do with their pitching situation. Because, again, today is a doubleheader, and you don't want to go through all your pitchers very quickly. And it's almost like they will be keeping Sturzbach in the circle. Indeed, they will. We'll see if Shumway is able to add on to this already. She has 1 double off of 1 hit. She's scored a run as well, 1 of the 6 for Southern Virginia. That was a very solid pitch there from Sturzbach. I'm surprised, as surprised as she is, that wasn't called a strike.
Yeah, he has consistently been giving that inside corner, and I think that's a bit of a shame that she didn't get that call. I certainly would have given it to her. It was a beautiful pitch, perfect placement.
That one a little outside, and we see Primac tempting the idea of sprinting for home.
One of those, better safe than sorry.
Absolutely. So now the count stands 3 balls to nothing. So I imagine Shumway at this point is going to try to be patient. That one will be called a strike, making a 3-1 count. And like you said earlier, Danny, when you're in this situation, it kind of forces you to almost overthink the situation as a batter. You want to let a pitch go by, giving easy on base, but at the same time, if they're starting to throw it right down the middle and it's there for the taking, now with a full count, you're tempted to swing at that, because that's the whole idea. Sturzbach's trying to tempt, Shumway to go swing more to the outside. He's going to try to draw her more to possibly that bottom left corner.
I have to say that I'm really impressed with Allie Sturzbach and this at-bat. She fought hard. She had a missed call there that she really probably should have gotten. And then to be able to climb the ladder, get back 2 strikes, to make it a 3-2 count. In the end, the batter is going to win that contest. But really good example of mental toughness.
Right. Absolutely. And like you said, Shumway gets the single there and is going to get an RBI as Ari Primac will get home. So another run scored for Southern Virginia, make it 7 runs to 0 here in the bottom of the 4th. That one a little to the outside. So we'll have 1 runner on first, and on deck is Crystal Kemp.
Yeah, the Primac and Shumway, 1-2 combo is such an excellent asset for the Knights to have, because then you have your power hitters, Dakel Jones and Crystal Kemp coming in. And 24 JC Shumway, she and Ariana Primac both are boasting mid 300s, the 352 batting average and a 351. So these are hitters who are consistently getting on, consistently having hits, moving themselves around the bases. And that's excellent to see from your hitters who are going to be seeing, the ball the most of anyone on the team, with being your number 1 and number 2 hole hitters.
And we saw in the previous play, Shumway snuck her way to second after the wild pitch from Sturzbach. So now the count is 2-1, and there's still 0 outs. That one a little outside, makes it a 3-1 count.
Potential for a walk-off situation here. Well, wait, I guess we're in the top of 4th, so not quite yet. Bottom of 4. I know my sports.
And this is number 20, DeKelwini, Savannah Atkins. So there's the first out of the bottom of the 4th. Now with Crystal Kemp up to bat. Once again, she has number 24, JC Shumway, at second. So we'll see if she's able to bring her home. She had a sacrifice RBI in the previous inning.
And it was a great hit. Sometimes those line drives are taken away by great fielding. So it's not that she isn't hitting well.
And I believe it was off a fantastic catch from number 19, Jocelyn Rogers, as she had to reach over her shoulder. Bring down essentially what I call a football catch. That strike makes it an 0-2 count. A little to the outside. Makes it a 1-2 count.
The Salem battery is doing a good job of making sure that Shumway can't advance and quickly getting the ball back to the circle. She's taking big leads, and they want to make sure that she gets back to the bag.
Fantastic hit there for Kemp, as Shumway will advance to third. It'll be a single for Crystal Kemp.
Now batting number 10.
And now number 10, Addison Webster, up to bat. Runners on first and third. Once again, still 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th.
Looks like we might have a substitution, a runner coming in for number 16, Crystal Kemp.
I believe this will be number 4. That is Kayla Autry, freshman from Federal Way, Washington. And Webster so far has 1 double, 1 RBI off of 2 at-bats. So had some success of her own.
The runner who just came in for Crystal Kemp, Kayla Autry, she is boasting a 400 batting average. Just shows how much depth there is on the bench.
Right.
With so many of these, bats who aren't on the lineup, what they're capable of bringing, even if they aren't, in the top 9 per se. Just so much that the Knights are able to work with in putting girls in for specific situations, where Kayla Autry probably has worse speed than number 16.
It's like I like to tell coaches a lot. That's a good problem to have when you have enough depth where you kind of worry about, who am I going to put in the lineup this week? This person does a really good job. This person also does a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a better problem to have than the alternative.
Right. So now Addie Webster, number 10, has runners on second and third.
Off the wild pitch, they will stay there. And again on third, as I mentioned before, is number 24, JC Shumway. And again, still 1 out to give, so Addie Webster could absolutely have a sacrifice hit here to try to get an RBI.
Or 2.
Yeah,
Plenty of ducks on the pond.
And with that, she'll walk to first, so now bases loaded. with number 15, Kraylin Guyman, up to bat.
Now at the plate for the Knights, number 15.
Guyman hasn't had phenomenal success so far. At 2 at-bats, hasn't been able to really get anything yet. But as we've mentioned before, plenty of power behind her swing, where any given moment with a situation like this, bases loaded, you can see some fireworks here, folks. And just like that, that's 1 run batted in and 2 runs batted in, and Guyman will make her way to second.
That's going to be a 2 RBI single, and with her advancing on fielder's choice. So now we have Kraylin Guyman on second base. A beautiful hit, scoring 2. With Addison Webster doing some excellent running, getting from first to third on that hit.
And now with pitcher number 6, Malia Davis, up to bat. So now the score standing 9-0 in favor of the Knights of Southern Virginia. It's funny, people mention the commentator's curse, but they don't ever really mention the opposite of that when a commentator says something that could happen, and lo and behold, it does happen. It's a little give and take there as a commentator.
Yeah, really anything Kraylin Guyman could have done, keeping it out of the infield into the outfield was going to score someone, and she did exactly that. So excellent execution on her part. And again, we have 2 more runners in scoring position. And Malia Davis, let's see what she can do. We're going to have a bobble from third baseman.
And another run scored for Southern Virginia. We'll also see Guyman advance to third. So that'll make 10 runs for the Knights here.
Those choppy hits can be really difficult to take care of. And she did keep it in front of her, so that was well done by number 6. Because the ball takes a bad hop, that can be really hard to deal with.
Indeed, that is Lauren Fisher, who had the difficult task of managing that hit. So another meeting in the infield. I suspect a possible substitution here after a couple of runs scored in this inning. As in this bottom of the 4th inning, the Knights have scored 5 runs, really advancing their lead. Still 1 out. May also see some substitutions in the batting lineup for Southern Virginia, as well as we see head coach Tiffany Pendleton talking to one of the umpires as well. Actually, we'll have a switch base runner instead. So Malia Davis will go back to the dugout, and in her place, we will let you know who it is as soon as we can see their number. We have Katie Clater up to bat for Southern Virginia. And the Spirits will keep Sturzbach in the circle.
Oh, the Spirits. I've been calling them the Saints. I am so sorry to any Salem fans out there. I do apologize.
We can finally see the number of the runner on first. That is number 7, Cadence Van Dyvner, freshman from St. George, Utah. And Danny, don't worry about it. I've had plenty of games where I've said the wrong mascot several times. Powerful hit there from Clater. That is out of here, no question about it.
Only difference between that hit and her last home run is the positioning. That one clearly over left center.
You knew as soon as it left her bat that it was gone, out of here. And the Knights' terror of a 4th inning is continuing as that scores them 3 runs, making it 13-0. With number 3, Chloe Nelson, up to bat. The Knights still only have 1 out.
What a day Katie has had, with 2 of her 3 at-bats being soaring home runs. She's just got to be on cloud 9.
Absolutely. I mean, 2 home runs, 4 runs batted in, scored 2 runs herself. I mean, my goodness. You can't ask for much better than that when it comes to softball. And of course, as a softball player, you don't necessarily like to see a home run score, but the one positive about it is that it clears the bases. It kind of gives you a fresh start, and you need 2 more outs to go and say, hey, there's no one in scoring position. Let's take care of the simple plays. Let's get to the dugout. That's a foul ball there from Nelson. Nelson herself has scored 1 run off of 2 hits. She has 1 triple. Pitch high to the outside for Sturzbach. Into the infield. A throw to first a little too late. So Nelson will get a single.
Now at the plate, number 8.
And we'll go back to the top of the batting order with number 8, Ari Primack. Primack has 2 hits, scored 2 runs, 1 RBI, and 1 triple. That's when we hit into center field, close to the fence. She'll get a double off of that, and Nelson making her way home, and she will make it there, making the score 14 runs to 0, but out at third. Actually, excuse me, I gotta say that Primack was safe at third. Almost called out, but I believe the ball escaped the glove of number 9, Cree Bass.
Now batting for the Knights, number 24, J.C. Shumway.
So once again, Primack getting an RBI and making her way to third. So now we'll have number 24, J.C. Shumway up to bat. And Shumway will make her way to first after being pegged by that pitch. So now runners on first and third.
Now batting for the Knights, number 20.
And now we'll have DeKel Jones, sophomore from Enterprise, Utah, up to bat. As the score now stands 14 runs to 0 in favor of the Knights. You know, we talked about the fact the past couple weeks the Knights have kind of had back and forth with wins and losses. You know, they've split a lot of doubleheaders here in the past couple of weeks as we see Shumway making her way to second. And so coming to this game, you know, the Knights really wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to gain some momentum, gain some confidence back, and just like Colby Kemp said to me before the game, take care of business. And, you know, when the score stands 14 runs to 0, I think you can easily say that taking care of business is exactly what they have been doing.
They certainly are. It's interesting because Southern Virginia, you know, a few years ago, the roles would have been reversed. And in fact, I remember playing on the Knights team and having been in a position that Salem is in now. It is so difficult to maintain morale and to just want to get out of an inning so bad, especially when a team is just having batting practice on you. But the Knights have been due for this for a long time, and their ability to take care of business, to score girls, to capitalize on errors, you know, they're putting all of the pieces together, and it's great to see some success from this Knights team, even if it means a devastating loss on the side of the Salem Spirits.
And DeKel Jones getting walked to first. And now we'll have number 4, Kayla Autry, up to bat for Southern Virginia with bases loaded. Once again, this is the second time we've seen a bases loaded situation for the Knights in this inning. Pitch a little low there. We've seen that Sturzbach's had a difficult time containing her pitches in this inning, either dropping very low or very high. That one to the outside. Sturzbach's pitch count now has reached 54. Swing and a miss there for Autry. And like we mentioned before, the Knights still have one out to give. Autry is going to hit home plate with that.
Autry is one of those players who's had few at-bats, but she has been rather successful with them, showing that she knows how to take advantage of an opportunity when it's given to her. And what a great time for her to do that when the Knights are up 14-0. Able to get some experience under her belt.
As another foul ball, keeps the count at a 2-2 count.
A lot of runners on base for Kayla right now. She has Ari Primack on third and JC Shumway, number 24, on second.
And then DeKel Jones on first, and that ball makes it a full count. So Autry is one ball away from being walked to first, and the Knights are one ball away from having another run scored with Primack.
The Saints, number 12, not letting her have it easy, though, continuing to keep up the battle and staying in it.
So it remains a full count. Another foul ball. I think Autry would have probably been better off letting that one go. That was a little bit low. I believe it would have dropped outside of the strike zone.
A challenging position for a batter to be in, though. You know, you're trying to defend the plate, and sometimes you make those judgment calls, and at least she fouled it off.
That's another foul ball.
Good battle here between pitcher and batter.
I know, Danny, we've talked several occasions about the situation, who's more frustrated at this point, batter or pitcher, and I think you mentioned before how it just kind of depends on the situation surrounding it. You know, as a pitcher, you know, you're looking at Sturzbach right now, you know, giving up 9 runs in this inning as Autry will walk to first, and another run scored that time by Primack, making it 15 runs to 0. We'll have another infield discussion here. Again, that now makes 10 runs scored in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, and if you're the Spirits, too, this is a challenging position to be in because you're wondering, do you swap out, you know, one of your pitchers now? There's still an entire second game to be played, but it looks like maybe we do have a pitching change occurring right here.
Indeed we do, and they're actually reverting back to number 2, Kat Price, who started off this game. She had not been able to get a strikeout by the time she was pulled from the game, so we'll see if she's able to sort of come in and redeem herself in that statistical category. I do feel like when she was pitching, I felt like the innings kind of ended sooner with her in the circle. So I think there was just more of a sense of consistency there. I mean, granted, Sturzbach was put in a difficult situation where Southern Virginia was really getting on a roll offensively with their bats, as now number 10, Addie Webster, goes up to bat for Southern Virginia.
Yeah, if you were the Salem Spirits, you were looking for any way to sort of staunch the bleeding. Anything to get you out of this 10-run inning that the Knights have had. Anything to change the momentum, but they are going to have another line drive hit into center field to score another.
That'll be Shumway reaching home this time, making it 16-0. And now we'll have number 15, Kraylin Guyman, up
Now
to bat
batting
once
for the
again.
Knights, number 15.
She had 2 runs in her last
Guyman.
at bat. So we'll see what she's able to do with bases loaded. Foul ball there for Guyman.
If you were the Knights and you were batting right now, a lot of that pressure is gone with a 16-0 lead.
Absolutely. You're kind of having fun with it right now. You're almost kind of experimenting with yourself, like, oh, I wonder what other kind of hits that I can get right now. You're feeling very confident, and you see right there Guyman able to get underneath that one and brought down by number 9, Cree Bass.
That's going to take Cree Bass all the way to the warning track, and we are going to have runners on first and third with 1 scoring.
I believe that was DeKel Jones
Now
making it
batting for
home,
the Knights, number
making it
7.
17 runs to 0. Now number 7. That'll be Cadence Van Dyvner, freshman from St. George, Utah, up to bat. This will be her first at bat. She has runners on first and third, as you mentioned, Danny. Swing and a miss there for Van Dyvner. So with that last catch, there is now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Pitch a little high from Price. I'm a little low, and over runner advancing to second. That is Webster.
Catcher is going to fake a throw to 2 in hopes of catching, the runner at third, overextending, but they're going to hold.
And that is Autry, that is at third.
Excellent diving play made by 20, keeping it in the infield.
And that's a tough play too, laying out your body like that, trying to get it. And that'll be another run scored for Southern Virginia.
Number 20 going to take a second to catch her breath. Maybe got some dirt in her eye on a dive like that, but what a fantastic play. Really knocking that down.
Indeed, if Southern Virginia had a runner going to second, she'd be able to toss it, get the double play going. But since that wasn't the case, it's hard to make that throw to first base off of your knees. Now we'll have Katie Clater up to bat with the score, standing now 18 runs to 0. Foul ball there.
Katie Clater just having a day of it today.
Indeed, hitting in 4 runners, scoring 2 runs herself, 2 home runs, both easily clearing the fences. A lot of power behind that one as that's a foul ball.
Whatever she's been doing in her off time is really coming together today.
It absolutely is, helping the Knights, scoring 13 runs in the bottom of the 4th.
And this is a great time to be hitting your stride as a batter, is in the middle of the season, because then you just have the rest of the season to look forward to.
And again, it just shows you that you're capable of having those really good days.
Oh.
A lot of power behind this one, but not enough as it's brought down by number 9, Cree Bass, and that brings this 4th inning to a close after the Knights hit in 13 runs in that inning alone, bringing the score to 18 runs to 0 going into the top of the 5th. And I believe due to mercy rules that unless Salem's able to get a lot of things going offensively in this inning, we'll be seeing an early end to the first game of this doubleheader. But of course, Salem College will have to do something against number 6, Malia Davis, who's had an absolutely phenomenal day in the circle.
She has done a fantastic job of shutting down this Spirits offense. And even when there are hits, they've been, right to her defensive middle positions, or even there was a hot shot, I think, to third base. But
Absolutely, that was caught by J.C. Shumway at third. I remember that one. That's one of those where I would have easily ducked out of the way and either that or turned and run, but Shumway just put her glove up, reacted, as you're trained to do.
There is something to be said about the instincts of a third baseman.
Leading off
Having
the
played
inning
that
for the
position
Spirits,
before,
number 35,
sometimes you're getting
Kobe LaPointe.
hits that are blisteringly fast, and you don't even have time to think. You just throw your glove in front of your face and pray.
A split-second prayer, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Now to bat for the Spirits is number 35, Shelby LaPointe. As we popped up, it was just inside the fence. It's hard to gauge that and not run into the fence, but that'll make it an 0-1 count.
That was sent over by the home field dugout, and over there we have the rugby team, who was quite disappointed that it was just out of reach of the fielders.
Short pitch there from Davis. In fact, I actually believe that's the men's lacrosse team over there watching. That's one thing you love, is just the camaraderie of Southern Virginia athletics. You know, you have a lot of different things happening on the fields every day, and if one team's done with their game of practice, they'll come over and support. I believe the coaching staffs of all these different programs do a great job of making sure there's that built-in support system for the other programs.
And a small school like this, you want to have that support between sports. And
Right.
honestly, on a day like today, who wouldn't want to be outside supporting this program that's really doing a great job today?
They popped up to the infield. That is brought down by Webster for the first out of the top of the fifth. You know, the only thing that would restrict you from going outside is lack of sunscreen, because other than that, it's just absolutely beautiful out here today. Like you said, Danny, not a single cloud in the sky. And of course, it doesn't hurt the fact that we also have the beautiful view of the Blue Ridge Mountains here at the fields. Bunts the inside, and that's going to be a throw to first. Beautifully executed by Southern Virginia's defense.
And Katie Clater did a great job crashing in on that bunt. And
Now batting number 6.
we love to see the
Lauren
movement, the good
Fisher.
communication, knowing the role that you're supposed to have. So Katie Clater coming up, and then DeKel Jones covering second base, being able to put that away, because bunt defense is something that Southern Virginia has struggled with before, but not this season. Great to see those corners crashing and good mobility from the middle infielders.
Swing and a miss there for number 6. That is Lauren Fisher. And the previous batter was number 9, Cree Bass, who was thrown out at first. Pardon me, that was the second out of the inning. That's popped up into left field. That is out number 3. And with the mercy rule, that will be it for this first game of the doubleheader, I do believe. Southern Virginia winning this first game by an amazing score of 18 runs to 0. The Knights really having everything go their way. And the Spirits, just nothing really seemed to work for them offensively or defensively. But again, Southern Virginia, a much needed momentum building game.
Absolutely. This puts them at 6-5 for their home record, and their first win against Salem in the series that they've had in the past. This is something that we love to see from SVU. Putting all the pieces together, this might be one of their highest scoring games with 18-0. Mind-blowing.
Absolutely fantastic work from Southern Virginia, and we'll be back here in about half an hour for the second game of today's doubleheader between the Knights and the Spirits. We'll be right back for the second game.